हर नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेवा। आदि पराशक्ति माता की जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। वक्रतुण्ड महाकाय सूर्यकोटि समप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। नमः शिवाभ्यां नवयौवनाभ्यां परस्पराश्लिष्टवपुर्धराभ्यां नागेन्द्रकन्या वृषकेतनाभ्यां नमो नमः शंकर पार्वतीभ्यां। कलाभ्यां चूडालंकृत शशिकलाभ्यां निजतपः फलाभ्यां भक्तेषु प्रकटित फलाभ्यां भवतु मे। शिवाभ्याम् अस्तोकत्रिभुवन शिवाभ्यां हृदि पुनर्भवाभ्याम् आनन्दस्फुरदनुभवाभ्यां नतिरियम्। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। सदाशिव समारम्भां शङ्कराचार्य मध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्य पर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परा। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वम् अरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत् स्मरणात् भवेत्। हर नमः पार्वती पतये। हर हर महादेवा। आदि पराशक्ति माता की जय। सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। Lord Shiva, who is the embodiment of auspiciousness, who is the Mahadeva, self-luminous one, and the leader of all devas, has blessed us all today, once again, to be a part of this wonderful satsangam, to listen to the shlokas and its meaning from Shivananda Lahari, composed by Sri Adi Shankaracharya. In our previous week's satsangam, we all enjoyed listening to the meaning of the 7th shloka. Adi Shankaracharya sings in the 7th shloka, मनस्ते पादाब्जे निवसतु वचस्तोत्र फणितौ करौ चाभ्यर्चायां श्रुतिरपि तथा कर्णनविधौ तव ध्याने बुद्धिर्नयनयुगलं मूर्तिविभवे परग्रन्थान् कैर्व पर परमशिव जाने परमतः मनस्ते पादाब्जे निवसतु वचस्तोत्र फणितौ करौ चाभ्यर्चायां श्रुतिरपि तथा कर्णनविधौ तव ध्याने बुद्धिर्नयनयुगलं मूर्तिविभवे परग्रन्थान् कैर्वा परमशिव जाने परमतः. He says, मनस्ते पादाब्जे निवसतु. Let my mind constantly dwell in your Kamala Charana, in your lotus feet. Nivasatu, let it permanently dwell in your lotus feet. Vachastotra phanitau, let me constantly talk about you. Let me talk in praise of you. Let me talk about your glories. Let me talk about your leelas. Let me chant your namas constantly. Karau chabhyarchayam, let my hands be engaged in your service constantly. Shrutirapi katha karnana vidhau, let my ears listen to your namas, glories and stories constantly. Tava dhyane buddhir, let my buddhi, let my intellect always think about you. Let it meditate upon you constantly. Nayana yugalam murti vibhave, let my eyes see your divine form always. Paragranthan kairva paramashiva jane paramataha. What is the need for other granthas? What is the need for me to go behind other shastras, other scriptures, other sadhanas when I am involved in this? Says Adi Shankaracharya in the 7th shloka. There is a Shastra Vakyam. In Puranas, it is said that a person must be engaged in Bhagavat Vishayam always. If that person is not engaged in Bhagavat Vishayam, then what do we call him? What do we compare him with? Puranas gives us many examples. It says, Shva Vit Varaha Ushtra Kharaihi. It says, Shva Vit Varaha Ushtra Kharaihi. It has taken the example of 5 animals, 5 organisms. And it says, Shva. Can we compare this human being who has not engaged himself in Bhagavat Vishayam with a dog? Because a dog will always quench its thirst by drinking puddle water or by drinking sewage water. Even if it is left near Ganga, it will not drink Ganga water. It will always quench its thirst by drinking water in the mud, in the road, and the drainage water, sewage water. So can we compare human beings to that of a dog? Because even after giving him the most sweetest nama, even after giving him the namas and kathas which will quench this samsara thirst immediately, he keeps going to this samsara again and again. He keeps keeping his mouth, his tongue in everything that is a part of this Laukika world. He keeps quenching his thirst temporarily in this samsara. So can we compare human beings with dog? Shva, dogs. Next, the Purana says Vit. Vit means worms. these worms constantly feed on dead bodies. It eats the materials, it eats this body once it is dead. So can we compare human beings with worms? Because like the worm, human being also feeds on something which has got no value, which has got no taste, which has got no essence. What essence can we find from this body once it is dead? But the worm finds something tasty in this. So it keeps going to this again and again. It keeps feeding on this dead body again and again. In the same way, Saramuleni samsaramunaku santranamanaku namam emiruchiram. Bhadrachala Ramadasa asks, Saramuleni samsaramunaku santarakavagu namam emiruchiram. Saramuleni samsaramunaku. This samsara has got no taste, no flavor, no essence. Saramuleni samsaramunaku. But on the other hand, Rama Nama adds flavor and essence to our life. Santaramunaku Nama Memi Ruchira. It helps us cross this ocean. It helps us cross this samsara sagaram. It helps us cross all these odds easily. So this Nama adds value, flavor and essence to our life. We are all constantly living in that world where there is no essence. So why waste your time and efforts in this? Asks Bhadrachala Ramadas Garu. In the same way, our Puranas say, can we compare this human body with that of a worm? Because worm constantly feeds on something which has got no essence. In the same way, this human being also feeds on something which has got no essence, which has got no taste. So can we compare human beings with worms? Sure, bit. Varaha. The third organism that is used is Varaha, boar. Even if you keep it in the most sophisticated, clean environment, it will not like being there. It will not be appealing for a boar to be in that place. It will move away. It likes to be in the dirt, mud. It likes to stay there constantly. So can we compare human beings with boar? Because we know that there is dirt filled around us. It is always dirty in the samsara. It is never clean. Until and unless we reach satsangam, we cannot see clean things, we cannot hear clean things, we cannot smell clean things, we cannot eat clean things. And we are constantly in samsaram only, laukika vishayas only. So, can we compare ourselves with that of a boar? Because even if we are put in satsangam, even if we are put in a very good environment, we want to run away from the reality. We want to run away from that which is permanent. So, are we like boar, Shva, Vit, Varaha, Ushtra? Now coming to camel. Camel tries to quench its thirst by eating those plants which have thorns. Because in desert generally we find cactus. So it eats cactus. And as it eats cactus, the thorns are very sharp, so it pricks its tongue. But the camel, being unaware of this, being ignorant of this, being oblivious to it, eats it again and again. It thinks that it enjoys this taste and the blood which comes out of its tongue is very tasty. It thinks that this taste comes only because of eating cactus, and it keeps eating it again and again and again without understanding that it is hurting itself, without understanding that it's hurting its tongue. It thinks that this taste is very nice, very appealing, very soothing, and it keeps eating this this again and again and again. So, can we compare human beings with camel? Because even human beings, even after being fully aware that sensual pleasures, materialistic pleasures will only give pain to us, keep running towards it. We all keep engaging ourselves in these materialistic things again and again. So, aren't we like camels? After having full knowledge that it will inflict pain upon us, we keep constantly running towards it. So, aren't we like camels eating cactus and inflicting pain to ourselves? Shva, Vit, Varaha, Ushtra, Kharaihi. Kharai. Kharaha means donkey. Donkey generally has a lot of load on its back. And this load might be something which is very precious, but it will not understand it. According to a donkey, it has load on its back. It causes pain, that's all. It knows nothing more than that. Even though it is a gold or a silver bag, even though it is very precious, it will not understand. It knows only about the pain. So in the same way, even though we are given satsangam, we think that we don't have time for it. We think that we don't have resources for it. We might feel lethargic. We might feel complacent. We might not feel like being in a satsangam always. We want to run away from this. We want to find reasons to escape from this. And we think this to be a burden. But in fact, this is that thing which will remove us from all our burdens in this world. But we fail to realize it. We think that this is a huge burden on our back. And we run away from this. So, we humans are like dogs, worms, boar, camels and donkeys, because we don't understand the real value of satsangam, or we don't understand how bhakti is to be done in its real sense. So until and unless we get ourselves connected with satsangam and Bhagavat Vishayam, we can never attain peace. In fact, this is the Bhagavata Dharma. In Bhagavatam, Nimi Chakravarti is given this answer. Yo vai Bhagavata prokta upayahi atmalabdhaye anjaha pumsam avidusham vidhi bhagavatan hi tan. A man might be oblivious to many things. He need not do tapas, he need not do dhyanam, he need not get into difficult things. If he just follows the Bhagavata Dharma, which is nothing but offering ourselves to Bhagavan, as given by Bhagavan, as instructed to us by Bhagavan, as directed by Bhagavan, then he can attain mukti. Anjaha pumsam avidusham vidhi bhagavatan hitan. That person becomes a Bhagavata. Vidhi bhagavatan hitan. He becomes a Bhagavata. And all that he has to do is to understand his own self and to divert all his senses towards Bhagavan. That is the only thing that he has to do. But this is not as easy as we think. Like how it is the nature of dog, worm, boar, camel and donkey to be engaged in these activities and to inflict pain to itself. In the same way, human beings' sense organs are also accustomed to certain things. Tirumular says, Anjumada kadakelbar arivilar Anjumadakum abararum angildai Anjum adakadakelbar arivilar Anjumadakum amararum அங்கிலை அஞ்சும் அடக்கில் அச்சேதனமாம் என்று அஞ்சும் அடக்கில் அச்சேதனமாம் என்று அஞ்சும் அடக்கும் அறிவறிந்தேனே அஞ்சும் அடக்கும் அறிவறிந்தேனே Tirumular says, this is the nature, this is the swabhavam of sense organs. What is the swabhavam of eyes? To see. What is the swabhavam of nose? To smell. What is the swabhavam of ears? To hear. What is the swabhavam of mouth? To taste and to speak. What is the swabhavam of our skin? To feel something, to do some work. So we cannot ask our sense organs or our body to be in a standstill position. We cannot instruct our body to refrain from doing anything. It has to do its job. It has to, eyes have to see, ears have to hear, nose has to smell, mouth has to speak. So these are jobs which are allocated to the sense organs, and this cannot be stopped at any cost. But the problem here is we run behind the wrong things. Eyes have to see. Yes, of course, but it sees the wrong thing. It runs behind wrong things. It enjoys pleasure by watching wrong things. By wrong, I mean things which are a part of this materialistic world and are not connected to Lord Shiva in any way. So, ears listen to things which are unnecessary. Mouth speaks unnecessary things. Nose smells unnecessary things. The Indriyas keep running behind all these things and ultimately get hurt. It gets attached to these sensual pleasures and it undergoes, it experiences happiness and sorrow one after the other. So it gets itself hurt. The mind makes the sense organs to go behind all these things because it enjoys some pleasure in this. The sense organ is drawn towards these sensual pleasures and it forgets about its own self. These sense organs are not able to look in itself. It is not able to look inward. It only looks outward. We are not able to look at Lord Shiva who resides in us. We are not able to see him outside also, but we are seeing all other things. We are not able to listen to what Lord Shiva in us says to us, but we are wasting our time in listening to all the other unwanted things in our life, in this world. We are not able to talk to Lord Shiva who is residing in our heart, but we are talking to all other mortal in this world and we talk all nonsense. We are not able to smell the fragrance of Dhupa Deepam which we have to offer to Lord Shiva who is residing in our heart. The flowers that we have to offer to Lord Shiva who is residing in our heart. But instead we smell all the other unwanted things in this world. So what are we running behind? What are we doing in this world? What have we achieved by running behind these sensual organs, sensual pleasures? Here in this Padigam, in this song, Tirumular says, the fireflies get attracted to fire. By the sight, they get attracted. So they go close to it and ultimately they get burnt. Without understanding that this fire has the tendency to burn them, they keep running behind it. They keep running towards it and they get burnt ultimately. In the same way, we, human beings, after being blessed with these 5 sense organs, 5 Jnanendriya, 5 Karmendriya, with this buddhi, with this mind, burn ourselves in this sensual world, in this materialistic world. And it becomes too late for us to realize this because we are too much engrossed in these sensual pleasures in this world. In Viveka Chudamani, Adi Shankaracharya says, Shabdadibhiv panchabhireva pancha panchatvamapuf swagunena buddha swagunena baddhaha kuranga matanga patanga meena bhringa naraha panchabhiranchitaha kim. He says, Shabdadibhiv panchabhireva pancha panchatvamapuf swagunena baddhaha. He says, there are 5 animals. Again, he gives us an example. He takes 5 animals and says how these 5 animals are a slave or are succumbed to one of their sense organs and ultimately they get perished. He says, Shabdadibhihi panchabhireva pancha panchatvamapuf swagunena baddhaha kuranga. He says, a deer is always succumbed to its hearing skills. It is under the control of his ears. Why? Hunters will be able to play a very melodious song, very soothing song, and can attract the deer and can bring it in their control. So kuranga, deer, is always under the control of its ears. Matanga, elephant. Elephant can be tamed at a very young age, and this can be done by touch. It will always come under the control of that person who keeps touching it from its early childhood days. And it is also a prey to the touch of a female elephant. So ultimately, it is under the control of its sense organ, which is touch. It is a slave to its sense organ. Matanga, patanga, flies. Like how Tirumular had told us in his Padigam. In the same way, Viveka Chudamani, Adi Shankaracharya also says that the fireflies have a weakness. They are attracted to sight. If they find something very bright, they go towards it. And ultimately they also go towards fire and get themselves burned. Patanga, meena, fishes do not have a control over their taste. They keep searching for worms, and if they eat a worm which is attached to a string, which is in the hand of a hunter, which is in the hand of a fisherman, then it gets caught. It has to die eventually. So, fish is under the control of its taste. It perishes. It loses its life because it is succumbed. It is a slave to its taste. Bhringa, bees. Bees always go from flower to flower. It is attracted to fragrance. So it goes from flower to flower. And ultimately, if it goes into a flower like picture plant or any other flower which has a very bright flower, which has tasty nectar, which has a high fragrance, but ultimately eats this bee, then it gets perished. So this bee loses its life by jumping from flower to flower, and if it chooses the wrong flower, it loses its life. So Adi Shankaracharya says, all these 5 organs, sense organs, control these 5 animals. Deer is under the control of its hearing skills. Elephant is under the control of touch. Patanga, fireflies are under the control of their sight. Fish, meena, is under the control of its taste. And bhringa, bee, is under the control of its fragrance. Now imagine these 5 animals, these 5 organisms lose its life, lose its independence loses everything in life because of being addictive to something and being a slave of one of its sense organs. Now imagine the plight of human being who is under the control of all 5 sense organs. We are not able to put our eyes under our control. We are not able to put our nose under our control. We are not able to put our mouth under our control. We are not able to put our ears under our control. We are not able to put our touching ability, our skin, our other parts of the body under our control. If we are not able to bring all the 5 under our control, then imagine our plight. Will we not be perished in this world? Is there any possibility for us to come out of this samsara sagar? Is there any possibility to entangle ourselves from this tangled world? Until and unless we bring our sense organs under our control, until and unless we bring our mind, mana, our buddhi, our intellect under our control, we can never release ourselves from this samsara sagaram. There is a famous shloka which says, Shrinvan subhadrani rathanga pane, janmani karmani chayani loke, gitani namani tadarthakani gayan vilajjaha vicharet asangaha. If you want to roam about freely, if you don't want to be caught in any sangam, then you must hear the namas. Subhadrani, the gunas. Janmani, the birth. Karmani, the actions, the deeds. Gitani, the songs. Namani, the namas. And other things which are related to Rathangapani, Narayana, Krishna, Lord Shiva. Constantly. We must hear all these things. And without any inhibition, we must also sing this. Why is the poet talking about inhibition? Because some people might say, I'm thinking about Krishna, I'm thinking about Shiva, He's there in my heart, but I will not sing when it comes to a satsangam, when it comes to Nama Sankirtana. I cannot even raise my hands and say, Krishna, Krishna, Govinda, Govinda, Narayana, Narayana, Shiva, Shiva. I cannot say it. I will have this inhibition. I will always have this lajja. I can never say His Nama. If that is the case, then when this jiva leaves his body, we will not get his nama very easily. We will have the same inhibition. We cannot come out of this shell. We cannot break open from this shell and we cannot chant his nama. Even in the deathbed, we will start being very conscious of people around us and will think, what will the people around us think about us? And so we will not chant his nama. We know for a fact that Antakalecha Mameva Smaran Muktva Kalevaram. In the deathbed, if you chant his nama, then you can attain him. We know that. But still, we will have this inhibition. We will be very conscious of our own self, that we will keep thinking about people around us and we will not chant his nama. So ultimately, we will not think about him, we will not chant his nama and we cannot attain him. There ends the matter. So every single thing takes us to that point where we have to chant his nama constantly. Only if we chant his nama, only if it becomes our breath, only if it gets everywhere in our body, it should be in our blood, it should be in our veins, it should be in our bone, it should be in our bone marrows, it should be in our flesh, it should be in our skin, it should be in our eyes, nose, mouth, ears, skin, head, hair, everywhere. It should be in every part of our body. It should be mixed with our breath. If we fall down, trip and fall down, we should say Krishna Keshava Madhava Govinda or Shiva Shiva, Mahadeva Shambho, Pahi. But we say other words. If we eat, we have to say Shiva Shiva, offer it to him. If we go to sleep, we must say Shiva Shiva. If we get up, we must thank him and say Shiva Shiva. If we are not able to do that, if we are not able to offer every single thing that we do in our life to Lord Shiva, if we are not able to channelize all our sense organs towards Lord Shiva, then we can definitely not think about him in the deathbed. So, keep listening to his namas, his glories, his birth, his kathas, his gunas, and keep chanting his namas without any inhibition. Gayan vilajjah, and only if you throw away all these inhibitions, only if you break open the shell and come out, vicharet asangaha, you will be able to move freely in this world without any bondages, without any attachments. Even in Narayaniyam, it is said, Pathanto namani pramada bhara sindhau nipatitaha smaranto rupam te varadha kathayanto gunakathaha charanto ye bhaktaha tvayi khalu ramante paramamoon aham dhanyan manye samadhigata sarvabhilashitan. In Narayaniyam it is said, only those who are able to achieve this state, only those who are able to follow these, only those who are able to chant his nama constantly, to think about him constantly, are the ones who are really blessed. Bhattatri says, Pathanto namani, one who reads his nama. You need not sing. Even if you are not well versed in singing, it is okay. Read his nama, write his nama, that is also enough. Pathanto namani, smaranto rupam te. Keep thinking about his namas, keep meditating about his rupam, keep meditating about his form. Keep your mind fixed in his lotus feet. Smaranto rupam te, kathayato gunakathaha. Keep hearing his stories, keep chanting his stories. Charanto ye bhaktya tvayi khalu ramante paramamoon. Keep engaging yourself in Sad Vishayam, and even if you are drowned, ensure that you are drowned in Paramanandam, which you get by listening to his stories, by chanting his namas, and by talking about him. Roam everywhere in this world, but ensure that you are enjoying this Paramanandam in you, that you are experiencing this Paramanandam in you. Ensure that all your sense organs are diverted towards Bhagavan, because aham dhanyan manye samadhigata sarvabhilashitan. Only these people who engage themselves in Bhagavad Vishayam will be able to attain everything in this world. Whatever they ask for will be given. And the most important thing is, they will not ask for anything apart from Bhagavad Vishayam, apart from Satsangam. And that is what Bhagavan also asks for. That is what even he wishes for. In Skanda Puranam, there was an incident. There was an old man who had been to the river to take his bath, and on his way back he had a pot. He took some water to do abhishekam to the Shivalingam in his house. He was bringing it, and on his way he saw a bilva tree, and below it he saw a Shivalingam. He saw that Shivalingam being placed under the scorching heat. So he wanted to somehow offer this water to Lord Shiva, and he wanted to offer bilva leaves to Lord Shiva. So he did that. He did abhishekam to Lord Shiva and offered bilva leaves. Lord Shiva is Ashutoshi. So he immediately came in front of that Brahmana and said, I am extremely happy with your puja. Ask me what you want. He said, I want Brahmalokam. So Lord Shiva says, Tathastu, you can come with me immediately. He says, no, please send the Vimanam. I will also bring my wife along with me. So he says, Tathastu. He sends the Vimanam. This man comes to his house and says to his wife all that happened. He said, I just offered this water in Bilva. Lord Shiva came in front of me. I asked for Brahmalokam. So come, let us both go to Brahmalokam. by listening to this conversation, Lord Shiva in Kailasa smiles. Parvati asks, why are you smiling? He said, I had been there to give him Shivalokam, to give him my own abode, to give him my own self, but he chose something which was very inferior. He chose something which is of no use. He chose a padavi, a sthanam, which was much lesser than Shivalokam. So this is what we tend to do. If we are not engaged in Bhagavad Vishayam, if we don't divert our mind towards Bhagavan, then even if Bhagavan comes in front of us, we will only ask for something which is very inferior. That is what we are doing even now. When we go to temple, we ask for all those things that are very immaterial and inferior. If we want money, we ask for money. If we want peace, we ask for peace. If we want good marks, we ask for good marks. If we want food for the next square meal, we ask for that. Some people who have all these things will pray to Lord Shiva to keep his chappal safe, because he must have left it outside. It would have been a brand new chappal, and so he would be praying to Lord Shiva, oh Shiva, please ensure that my chappal is safe. So is this why we are going to a temple? Is this why we do puja? To ask for all these immaterial, inferior things? Shouldn't we ask for him? And if we chant his nama, if we just read his nama, if we speak about him, if we hear about him, if we think about him always, if we contemplate upon him, if we start enjoying Paramanandam by listening, speaking, hearing, thinking about him, and if we keep roaming in this world freely without any problems, without any tension, and by just thinking about him, contemplating about him, then we will get all Anandam. We will get everything in this world without even asking for. We need not go ask to Lord Shiva. He will give us what we deserve. And that will give us Paramanandam. Because we will start understanding that Lord Shiva is very close to us. For those who constantly engage in Sadvishayam, even if they get 1 crore rupees, they will only say that Lord Shiva has blessed me with this 1 crore rupees when I needed it the most. This only shows that he is Ashutoshi and he is happy with my prayers. That is the maturity that we will get after being engaged in Satsanga, after engrossing and after drowning in this Satsanga. But for others, they will say, I have earned so much, I have put in my efforts, and that's why I have got 1 crore rupees. So this is the maturity level. This is the difference in maturity level between a person who is engaged in Satsangam and a person who is not engaging himself in a Satsangam. So it is very important for us to start directing all our senses, all our organs inward and not outward. We must start enjoying Bhagavan who lives in us. We must stop deriving pleasures from all the materialistic things around us. We must start engaging ourselves in Sadvishayam, Bhagavat Vishayam. And if we don't do it, then it only means that we are all bound by Maya. It only means that we have not opened up our senses. We have not opened up our inner eye. Our inner eye is still closed. That is why in the 8th shloka, Adi Shankaracharya says, Yatha buddhi shuktau rajatamiti kachashmani manihi jale paishte kshiram bhavati mrigatrishnasu salilam tatha deva भ्रान्त्या भजति भवदन्यं जडजनो महादेवेशं त्वां मनसि च न मत्वा पशुपतेः. He says, यथा बुद्धिः शुक्तौ रजतमिति काचाश्मणिमणिः जले पैष्टे क्षीरं भवति मृगतृष्णासु सलिलम् तथा देवभ्रान्त्या भजति भवदन्यं जडजनो महादेवेशं त्वां मनसि च न मत्वा पशुपते. He says, as we are all constantly involved in sensual pleasures, we forget about Mahadeva. We constantly engage ourselves in things which are not important. And so we are in a Bhranti. We are in delusion. Our eyes are covered by Maya. Tatha Deva Bhrantya. We are in a Bhranti. We are in a delusion. And so what we do? Bhajati Bhavadanyam Jadajanaha. People, Jadajanaha, dull-witted people, Bhajati Bhavadanyam Deva. They go behind other devas, other demigods, without understanding that you are the supreme being, without understanding that you are the supreme Brahman. They go to all other devas, all other small demigods to satisfy their sensual pleasures, temporary sensual pleasures. Mahadevesham tvam manasi cha na matva pashupate. Mahadevesham, you are the Mahadeva. You are the Devadi Deva. But without thinking about you, tvam na matva manasi cha pashupate. Without thinking about you, without diverting their minds towards you, they keep running behind trivial demigods. They keep running behind small gods who keep giving them trivial, temporary happiness, who keep quenching their thirst then and there, and who do not quench their thirst permanently. And that is why Adi Shankaracharya says they are all Jada Jana. They don't know this taste. They don't know this, the value of this Nama. They don't know the value of being in Shiva Satsangam. So they are all Jada Jana only. They cannot engage themselves in higher things. So they are all Jada Jana. And they are in a Bhranti, they are in a delusion. And what is this delusion like? He has given 4 examples here. He says, Yatha Buddhihi. Yatha Buddhihi Shaktau Rajata iti. When a person sees an oyster shell, he assumes it to be a silver. When it lies in the sand in a beach, and when sunlight falls on it, we might assume that it is a silver. Many people will collect this and bring it home telling that it is silver, but it is just an oyster shell. So, Shaktau Rajatam iti. When an oyster shell is misunderstood to be a silver coin. Kachashmani Manihi, where a glass piece is misunderstood to be a gem. Jale Paishte Kshiram. Jale Paishte, where the mixture of water and flour is misunderstood to be milk. Mrigatrishnasu Salilam, where the mirage is misunderstood to be water. What value do we get by this misunderstanding? What do we gain by thinking it to be the other way? We do not gain anything. We in fact lose things. We waste our time and energy for something which is of no use. So, he says, don't waste your time in all these things. Devas and the other gods might be similar because they also have some power. Definitely they do have powers. But this power is not beyond the power which Lord Shiva possesses. In fact, Lord Shiva is the one who gives them all these powers. So, they might be similar. They might also have powers. But don't assume this to be the ultimate power. Don't assume this to be the permanent solution. This is only a temporary solution. So, don't run behind them. Don't waste your time. Tatha deva bhrantya. Don't be in this delusion. Don't be in this maya. Bhavadanyam jadajano mahadevam tvam manasicha namatva pashupati. He is the Mahadeva. Even in our previous shlokam, in the third shlokam, we have seen what Mahadevam actually meant. Mahadevam devam maisadaya bhavam pashupatim. This is what we enjoyed in the third shloka. Mahadevam, who is the Lord of all devas. Mahadevam. Not only that, when we chant the Nama Mahadeva, Mahadeva Mahadeva Mahadeveti yo vadet, ekena mukti mapnoti dvabhyam shambhurini bhavet. We have enjoyed this many times. We have listened to the shlokas many times. But every time, the meaning remains the same, and it is very apt for us. It is very apt for every case that we take. Mahadeva Mahadeva Mahadeveti yo vadet, ekena mukti mapnoti dvabhyam shambhurini bhavet. By chanting Mahadeva once, we will get mukti. And by chanting it 2 times, Lord Shiva doesn't know what to give us, so he becomes indebted to us. Mahadeva Mahadeva Mahadeveti vadinam vatsa gauriva gaurishaha dhavantam anudhavati. By chanting Mahadeva Nama, he gets extremely happy and he comes running to us like how a calf runs towards its mother. So this is the greatness of Mahadeva Nama. And Mahadevesham Tvam Manasicha Namatva Pashupati. You are Pashupati. You are the Lord of this entire universe. Even after knowing fully well, even after having this knowledge that you come running to us, you give us mukti, and you also become indebted to us, we are not thinking about you. These Jada Janaha, these dull-witted people, do not think about you. Even after knowing fully well that you come running towards them, you give them mukti. You give everything that they want for, that they ask for. What is the use then? You are Mahadeva. You are Pashupati. You are the Lord of everyone in this world. But still, they go to all demigods. In Mukundamala also, Katipaya Gramesha Malpa Arthadam Sevayai Mrigayamahe. Kulashekara Advai says, Gramesham. Why are we going behind a small ruler of a small village? We go to him because we know that he has got some power. But this power cannot match the power which Lord Shiva has. So, don't run behind MLAs, MPs, ministers because they have some power. Don't run behind rich people because they have some power. Don't run behind strong people because they have some power. Run behind Lord Shiva, who possesses all these powers and who in fact gives these powers to all these people in this world. So, Katipaya Gramesha Malparthadam. Why do you go behind all these people for petty things, petty happiness? Mrigayamahe naramaho muka baraka vayam. Kulashekara Advar also says the same thing. We are all fools. We are all dull-witted because we run behind all these human beings to satisfy our needs. Instead, let us all run behind Narayana. Let us all run behind Shiva to get all our needs satisfied. Let us not waste our time in running behind people who look like Lord Shiva. We run behind power. We go behind power. We think that these powerful people are God Himself. God themselves, but they are not. They are only similar to Shiva. They cannot become Shiva. So this is the delusion that we have, and this is like the delusion which we have when we see an oyster shell and consider it to be silver. This is the delusion that we have when we see a piece of glass and consider it to be gem, a precious gem. This is the delusion that we have when we see the mixture of water and flour and we consider it to be milk. This is the delusion that we have when we see a mirage and consider it to be water. So we must come out of this delusion. And that is why even in Shivananda Lahari, Adi Shankaracharya has told us all in the 4th shloka not to go behind other devas. Sahasram vartate jagati vibudhaha kshudra phaladaha namanye swapneva tadanusaranam tatkrita phalam hari brahmadinamapi nikata bhajam asulabam Chiram yache shambho Shiva tava padam bhoja bhajanam. He says, Sahasram vartante. There might be thousands of gods. Jagate vibudhaha kshudra phaladaha. They only give trivial happiness. They only give trifling happiness. What is the use in going behind them? Namanye swapneva tadanusaranam. I should not think about them even in my dreams. I should not go behind them even in my dreams. I should always stay focused on Lord Shiva. This is the request which Adi Shankaracharya places in front of Lord Shiva. And again, he says, I must not go behind. I must not focus on all these trivial gods. But there are many people who focus on these trivial gods and trivial happiness. They are all dull-witted people. What do I tell them? How do I explain it to them? How do I tell them that they are running behind things which are not real? They are running behind things which are illusionary. Everything other than Shiva Bhakti becomes an illusion. It becomes a delusion. Dhyatah, drishtah, kirtitah, stutah, sampujita, smrita, pranata. This delusion, we need some strong hold. We need to engage ourselves in certain things. Again it comes to the same point. Shastra says, Paramastu Puman, that Kirtitah must be sung, Stutah must be glorified, Sampuji Pranata. All our papam, this papam will be taken away from us, will be taken from our lives permanently. It is not that it will be washed out temporarily. Root burns all the moham and soham that we have in this life, and it gives us moksham ultimately. This moham and soham gives us karma, papam, punyam, and we keep rotating in this world. We are born constantly. We die always. We are in this world constantly. We are tangled in this world. And for us to be free, for us to be relieved from all these things, we must all our senses at the lotus feet of Lord Shiva. And if we do that, then ultimately we get free. So, we must concentrate only on Lord Shiva. Anything else in this world, as mentioned in the 7th shloka, and it should not think about anyone else, as how it is mentioned in the 8th shloka. Worshipping and anyone apart from Lord Shiva. And this is how we must live, and this is what is the sadhana which we must all practice to get mukti. This is the only way of getting mukti, and this is the only way of attaining Lord Shiva. This is given to us not just by one again and again, so that we can put all our sense organs in Sadvishaya. Even last week, we had an extended session on this with the grace of Sadgurunathan Bhagavan. My Guru, Shri Anand Dayanidhi, also spoke about this only. And today, also, we are speaking about the 7th shloka. We have extended 7th shloka again to see where about and who and all have spoken about it. And the list goes on. Even if we dig more deep into it, we will find many bhaktas speaking about this in many granthas, in many stotras, in many songs. Everyone has felt the same and they are stressing about the same to all of us. So we must start understanding the essence. We must start understanding the importance of engaging ourselves in satsangam and as frequent as possible to attain Lord Shiva and to get mukti. Hara Namah Parvati Shakti Mata Ki Jai, Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai, Veera Dheera Shura Parakrama Anjaneya Swami Ki Jai. தென்னாட்டுடைய சிவனே போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.